Montreal is an absolutely vibrant city. Welcome to Hungry for Travel TV. I'm Carol Yelverton. No matter what time of year you visit, there's always tons to do. Montrealers love food. That's why this Quebec city is known as Canada's foodie capital. French roots and a diverse culinary sensibility set this city apart. Some of her most beloved dishes come from Montreal's Jewish community. You'll find killer bagels and smoked meat. It's kind of like pastrami, but not. The pickling spices used to make smoked meat have also evolved into the legendary Montreal Steak Seasoning. Now, it's not hard to make your own batch, and the flavors will actually knock your socks off. So let's whip this up together using whole seeds for better flavor. So I'm starting with a tablespoon each of dill seed, some coriander seed, which is one of my favorite things. We have some peppercorns. We also have some granulated garlic, and I'm going to put some red pepper in. And then I have paprika, lots going in here. And then I have kosher salt. This is amazing salt, by the way. These are like kind of flaky. They're not, they're not like any other salt have had before. My family started using this when I was a child after our Jewish friends turned us onto it. And I just love cooking with it. These are flakes. They're somewhere between table salt and harder sea salt. They're light and they dissolve really, really beautifully into food. All right, let's finish up with 2 teaspoons of mustard seeds, and I have 6 allspice berries that are going to go in. These are all available online, by the way, as you can imagine. So what we want to do is we want to break these up, but we don't want to grind them really, really finely. So you can use a couple of things. If you have a grinder, perfect, or pop them in a Ziploc bag and use a rolling pin and just grind them up that way. I like to use a blender because it's really fast and I can just kind of get it just right where I want it to be. So I turn this on, and then I just let these go for about 10 seconds. All right, and done. And here's what they look like. The colors and textures here give you a sense of the intense aromas we're getting in the studio. The coriander and dill seeds are really bright, and the red pepper and peppercorns drill some heat into this spice blend. The mustard seeds offer a deep savory element, and that allspice, that just has the soft sense of cloves and cinnamon. It's a total package. So just store it in an airtight container and you're going to be all set and good to go with it. So when you get to Montreal, you're going to want to see and do so many things. Where to start? This video breaks it down. All right. Well, they call this stuff Montreal Steak Seasoning for a reason. It is so unbelievably good on beef. Well, I mean, on all kinds of things, but on a steak, you really have to try it. So you can season the meat directly. I have a nice cut of sirloin right here, and certainly you can just take these seeds and spices and put them directly on, and then just let it sit for a little while. Always let your steak kind of come to room temperature. Let it sit before you cook it, because you're going to end up with something that's a whole lot more juicy and delicious. Now, people also like to use these spices in a marinade too, and I like to use it that way. So what I do is I have a cup of olive oil and balsamic vinegar together, and then I add a bay leaf to this. And again, that kind of goes back to that old idea of the pickling spices and the kind of spices that you'd use. And then I take 3 nice hefty teaspoonfuls, because this is a big flavor, and when you put it in this mix, it just goes in really well, and it doesn't taste overwhelming when it's all finished. So we do that, and then we just drop it on top of our steak, like that. And then I let this refrigerate, for a while. I mean, you could cook it, within a half hour or so, but again, like any marinade, the longer you put it on, the better it's going to taste. So I just have this on, and then I grill or broil the steak up. And I shot a picture of it right on the grill because this looked too good for me not to. You can already see how tasty this is going to be. Now, some of the seeds are on the meat, and so one of the things I really love is when you're eating the steak and you bite into them, oh my gosh, you get this great, bright little flavor of the dill or the coriander. It's really fantastic. Montreal nightlife is on fire. That city never sleeps. And wherever you go, it all seems to end in poutine, a dish of fries, gravy, and cheese curds that Canadians can't get enough of. Really. Here's how a Montreal girls' night out went for 2 Toronto tourists.
This is your plan for tonight.
Okay. When to complete the evening, we expect to see you shake it up on one of Montreal's most popular dance floors,
surprise venue.
Oh wow, look! Yay! Cheers! Yay! Here's quick, let's go! Come here! Can we get next? Yeah, you bet not today.
It all ends in poutine, like I said. You know, there's one thing Montrealers also cannot get enough of, and that's brunch. The city's French heritage steps up big time because the go-to dish for brunch is Eggs Benedict. So I've put together what I call a Montreal Eggs Benedict because I'm kind of melding some of the poutine elements. We're going to create layers of potatoes, eggs, hollandaise, and maple bacon, because Canada. So I've baked thick cut strips at about 425 degrees. And then when they're just crispy on the top side, all I do is, and they're cooked now, but all I have done is to turn them over. And then I take some maple syrup and I brush each one, and then I turn it over again and brush it. So it gets brushed on both sides. And then I've cut them into kind of more chunks so they'll be ready to go. Now, the other thing I've done is get some rockin' French fries, home fries together, because the potatoes are parboiled, drained, and then they're fried up with shallots and freeze-dried chives, which actually adds a much more intense flavor than fresh chives. So the other thing, of course, is hollandaise, and don't you love it? Lemony, buttery, creamy. I think it's one of the best sauces in the world. I use Julia Child's blender method. Why mess with perfection? So you can find that online too. Okay, so let's let the layering begin. So right now, we're going to start with our beautiful hash brown potatoes, nicely fried up, all brown and crunchy and soft in the inside. And then I have some poached eggs here, and I'm just going to very carefully put them on. So there's one poached egg, and then let's get our other one on. And moving these is always interesting, but I think we have succeeded in not breaking the poached eggs, so I'm super excited about that. And then we're going to add our beautiful, beautiful hollandaise now, which is, again, one of my favorite things ever. So we're going to put it on, and just look at the beautiful color of this. Oh my gosh, it's just like so lovely, yellow, bright. It feels like a sunny morning, doesn't it, when you look at this? All right, so put a lot on, because you need a lot of hollandaise if you're going to bother, right? And then, again, our bacon will go on top. So let me show you the food shot of all this. You can see our crisp, savory potatoes form the base for runny poached eggs and that hollandaise, so you're not going to lose any of its goodness. You can see that I cut the bacon into those bigger pieces too, and doesn't that look nice? It really looks like you can dig into it, and that's the idea of that. You know, I love the play of sweet, salty bacon with the lemon and the hollandaise. I mean, this is just a total winner of a brunch. You know, Montreal has such a cool scene with its culture, its activities, and its amazingly incredible food. I hope you can visit soon. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm Carol Yelverton. Until I see you again, stay hungry for travel.